Hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss some numericals that is important for boards and some for NTSC exams. This is your first question. In this question, a VI characteristic is given for two wires, wire A and wire B, and both the wires having same length and same thickness. What you have to find out? You have to find out which of these two wires is made up of a material having high resistivity. That you have to solve. Okay? Can I do it now? How to do it? Both are having same length and same thickness. How to find which one is having high resistivity? You know, already I have discussed this VI characteristics. The slope of the VI characteristics gives you the resistance. So if the slope is more, that means your resistance is more. So in which of these two graphs having more slopes? Here obviously this A is having, this A, where A is having bigger slope than your where B. So slope is more means your resistance is more. So definitely here slope of A is greater than B. So resistance of wire A is greater than your resistance of wire B. And you know this resistance, already in last class we have discussed, this resistance depends on the nature of the material if length and thickness is same. And in question it is given both length and thickness are same. So that means higher the resistance will have the higher the resistivity. That means where A will have high resistivity than your wire B. Still mathematically also we can prove it. How? Suppose the resistance of wire A we can write as RA. So let it write. Resistivity of the wire A is rho A and L by A. And resistance of wire B, RB, is equal to rho B, and it is same given both length and thickness. So same L by A and L by A. Divide, this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. Divide equation 1 and equation 2. What you will get? RA by RB is equal to, divide this. So L by A get cancels. So you will see rho A divided by rho B. That means your resistance is directly proportional to resistivity. Resistance is directly proportional to resistivity. And we have already find out that resistance of A is greater than your resistance of B. So resistivity of wire A is more. Clear? This problem clear? Now we'll discuss a conceptual based questions, not this numericals. Second question. Difference between wire of an electric heater and a fuse wire. What is the difference between a wire of electric heater and fuse wire What is the difference between these two wires? Tell me. Should I tell? Wire of electric heater is having very high resistivity. It has got high resistivity. it has very high melting point. It has high melting point. If melting point is high, even at higher temperature, your wire will not burn. Okay? But in fuse wire, here resistivity also high. Same, resistivity also high, but important difference is it has got very low melting point. It has got very low melting point. So that is the difference between wire of electric heater and fuse wire. What will happen if melting point is low? This fuse wire actually is a safety device that is connected in series with the live wire circuit in a house or in any offices. So if there will be sudden large current pass through it fuse wire, so since melting point is low, immediately the wire will melt. So wire will melt means it will disconnect the connectivity from the power supply to our home wiring or any house wiring, office wiring. So that disconnection will be there. That means it is preventing the accidents or the short circuit of a house. Am I clear? Since it has got very low melting point, when sudden high supply will be there, so this fuse wire will melt. So if it will melt, since it is a connecting device between the supply and your house wiring, so it will disconnect this. So by doing this, what will happen? It is preventing all the appliances. Otherwise, maybe appliances will get burned, or maybe there will be fire inside our home because of short circuit. So this is the function of your fuse wire, and this is the difference of wire of electric heater and fuse wire. I think I am clear in this question. Now we will discuss about our third question. Okay. Now this is your third question. So these three are copper wires. Copper, you can say all three are copper conductors, and having different length and area cross section that you can see. What you have to find out? You have to find out among these three wires which one is having highest resistance. Which one is having highest resistance, that you have to find out. How to solve it? You know the resistance formula. So for this first picture, this conductor having length L and area cross section A. So R1 will be rho L by A. Rho L by A. This is the first resistance of the first wire. Now what is the resistance of the second wire? R2. Again rho, since all three are copper conductors, so your resistivity will be same. So again rho. In case of L, what you will write? 2L now, since your length is 2L. And in place of A, what is the area cross section over here? This is A by 2. So solve it. This 2 will go up. Now you will get rho 4L by A. So you can write this is as 4 times of rho L by A. And what is this rho L by A? This is your R1. So we can write 4 R1. And what is the resistance of the third one? That is R3. So R3, can I now, I am just rubbing this off because I need more space for R3. I don't know whether you can see this down line or not. So now what is your R3? R3 is equal to rho In place of L, you will write L by 2. In place of A, what you will write? 2A. So solve it. How much you are getting? 2, 2, 2. So it will be rho by 4 L by A. So this you can write 1 by 4 of rho L by A. So this rho L by A is R1. So this is now 1 by 4 of R1. So which one is having now highest resistance? This is R1 for the first wire, and R2 is 4 R1 and R3 is 1 by 4 R1. That means in the second case the resistance is highest. Okay? Clear? This third question. Now what is the second question? Next question we are going to discuss. I need more space to do all the numericals. So fourth question is calculate the resistance of 1 kilometer long copper wire. Radius is given 1 millimeter. So length is given, radius is given. Even the resistivity of the copper is also given. The resistivity of copper, having resistivity, how much? 1.72 into 10 to the power minus 8. What is the unit of resistivity? Ohm meter. So this much of data given. Okay, you have to calculate the resistance now. I think it is easy, it is direct, just matter of calculations. So how will you do? You know formula of resistance, R is equal to rho L by A. So L is given, radius is given. Radius is given means from there you can find out your A. What is your A formula? Area cross section, cylindrical wire. So what is the area cross section? So it will be your wire, na? So this is your area cross section, this part is your area cross section. So what is that part? That is pi r square. So what is that formula? That will be pi r square. So rho L by pi r square. Now can you do? Can you solve? This is simple calculations. Rho L pi r square. So how will you do? What is the rho? Rho is given how much? 1.72 into 10 to the power minus 8. What is your L? L is 1 kilometer. So you have to convert into meter. That means 10 to the power 3 divided by pi. What is the value of pi? 3.14. What is the value of pi? 3.14. And r square. So r is given 1 millimeter. So you have to convert into meter. So how will you convert? What is how much? 1 millimeter means in meter 1 into 10 to the power minus 3 and square. This is simple mathematics right now. Nothing. Just simple. You can calculate. So how will you do? 1.72 into 10 to the power minus 5. Can I rub it now? Yes. I think you might have noted all the data. So how will you calculate? So R is equal to now 1.72 into 10 to the power 1.72 into 10 to the power minus 5, and this is 3.14 into 10 to the power minus 6. So what will happen? This 10 to the minus 6, 10 to the minus 2, minus 5. How much you will get? So you will get 1.72 divided by 3.14 simply into 10. 10 to the minus 5 and 10 to the minus 6. When it will go up, it will become 10 to the power 6. So 10 to the minus 5 into 10 to the power 6 gives you 10. So it will, when you calculate this, what is the value you will get? You will get 5.47 ohm. 5.47 ohm. So this is the resistance and this will be your answer. Is it clear? This is the simple one. This is the simple one. Is it clear? Okay. Now we'll move to next problem. Next problem, you have to draw circuit diagram. In boards you are getting such questions to draw circuit diagrams, and as per the circuit diagram also you have to draw VI characteristics as per the Ohm's law. All these questions are coming in boards. Okay. Now next question, that is question number 5 I think. What is the question number 5? You have to draw the diagram of an electric circuit. In first case, 3 cells are there. In first case, 3 cells are there and a bulb is there. Then ammeter and a plug key which is on mode. This is on. So you have to draw a circuit diagram. 3 cells, 1 bulb, ammeter, plug key, and that plug key is closed, switched on mode. So how to draw the diagram of this circuit? Ammeter is connected in series. So already we have discussed, positive terminal of the ammeter is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. So for that, what we have to do? But how to connect these 3 cells? Specifically it is given 3 cells. So suppose this is your ammeter and this is your key in on mode. Okay. Now how to connect these 3 cells? Positive, negative. One cell, another positive to negative. Second cell, another positive and negative. This is your third cells. So how you will connect? This is first cell, this is second cell. So draw one line. Now this is first cell, this is second cell. So draw another line. Now all 3 cells are now connected. Okay. Then key over, cells over, ammeter over. Only bulb is there. So now bulb. How to do the bulb? Like this you can do and connect. Okay. So this is your positive terminal. This is negative. This is positive. This is negative. This is positive. This is negative. So ammeter positive to positive, negative to negative. So give positive sign over here and negative sign over here. Clear? Is it clear? So this is your key. Okay. This is your cell, voltage V, and give the direction of current flow also. So from which direction to which direction current will flow? Current will flow from positive to negative. So from positive to negative. So this is the direction of current flow. Okay. Clear this diagram? Please note it down. It is easy. Done? Okay. We'll move to next question. Again, you have to draw another circuit. Everything is same, but you have to connect. Second question. Draw a circuit diagram having same components. 3 cells, bulb, ammeter, plug in on mode. With that, you have to connect a voltmeter. A voltmeter across the combination. So same 2 bulbs. Here you have to connect 2 bulbs in parallel. This is given in question. You have to draw the circuit diagram using all these components. So 2 bulbs, 3 cells, okay, then ammeter, then voltmeter and key in on mode. Okay. So how to draw the circuit diagram using these components? So the downward part will remain same, no variations like previous one. So this will be your ammeter. So this will be your key on mode. Now same way draw 3 cells, 1, then 2, then 3. Please be careful while drawing this. Okay. So 3 cells, Now you know voltmeter is connected in parallel. So voltmeter is connected in parallel. So this is your voltmeter. Now what is given? Two bulbs in parallel. So how to draw that? Do this like this. Here one bulb, here another bulb. So now both the bulbs are connected in parallel. Okay. Now you have to give the direction of current and the sign convention. Voltmeter. So positive to positive ammeter and negative to the negative terminal. Same in the case of voltmeter. So this is positive, so this will become positive, and this is negative because voltmeter is connected across the circuit, parallel connection. Okay. Now bulb. So what will be the current direction? Current direction will be from positive to negative. From positive to negative. Okay. Is it clear? Is it clear? The current direction and everything. I think it is clear. If any doubt, please leave a comment so that again I can discuss. Okay. Now we'll go to the sixth question. Sixth question is for NTSC exam. It will not come in board, or you can say for Olympiads or for competitive exams, because it will touch little bit of 12th syllabus. So next question, which number? I think number 6. So this question, what is this question? What is the work done in moving? You have to find out the work done. You have to find out the work done in moving a 4 coulomb of charge. You have to move a 4 coulomb of charge by 4 coulomb of charge by 2 meter. By 2 meter along an equipotential surface. Along an equipotential surface. Equipotential surface. So what is the work done in moving a charge? Okay. So what is the work done in moving a charge? Find out the work done. So work done, you have to find out the work done moving a 4 coulomb of charge by 2 meter along an equipotential surface. Tell me, can you solve it? Is it 8? No. The answer will be 0. Why the answer will be 0? Can I rob it? Can I rob it? Because I have to write, I have to explain this. Here one term is that you have to move that charge through 2 meter by 2 meter, but along a equipotential surface. The term is there. What is this? Equipotential surface. Equipotential. This is means everywhere potential is same. Everywhere potential is same. So if potential is same, then what is the potential difference? Suppose this is point A and this is point B. So here potential is VA, here potential is VB. So what is the difference in potential? Both the potential are same. This is equipotential surface, means everywhere potential is same. So what is the difference in potential then? So VA minus VB is equal to 0. So your potential difference is 0. If your potential difference is 0, then what is your work done? Work done will be Q VA minus VB. So this is 0, that means your work done is 0. So your answer will be 0. Okay. Is it clear? I think it is clear. So I will move to the next question. Again another question. It is not for board. I am mentioning repeatedly. Those who don't want to prepare for NTSC and Olympiad, all these competitive exams, they can exclude these last two questions because this is not related to your board. So it is related to NTSC or Olympiad exam. If you want to pursue science, then you must see these last two problems also, because same questions you are going to face in class 12th. Okay. Now question number 7. So this, what is this question? You have to find out the electrostatic force. What is the amount of electrostatic force if distance between the two charges is doubled? Two charges is there. They are separated by some distance. When this is suppose Q1, this is Q2. Okay. So two charges are given. So their usually separation is R. And I have not discussed this. This question comes under Coulomb's law of attraction. So you will study in class 12. But still I will mention that formula. In detail you are going to study in class 12. Okay. So question is given. If the distance between these two charges, if this is doubled, okay, then what about your force of attraction? So this force is electrostatic force of attraction. So what will be the value? So here what you will use? You will use your Coulomb's law. You will use your Coulomb's law, and that formula of Coulomb's law, you will use Coulomb's law. This is not under your 10th syllabus, but those who are preparing for competitive exams, they have to study, but I have not discussed in detail of Coulomb's law. It is in 12th. If anybody wants, I can discuss that. Those who are preparing, or those who are preparing for NEET or JEE. So what is the formula? F is equal to K Q1 Q2 by R square. This is the electrostatic force of attraction. Okay, this is the formula of Coulomb's law. Now, what you have to find out? You have to find out if this distance is double, then what will be the value of F? Easy. So this is the original formula of Coulomb's law. Now distance is double. Then what will happen? F is equal to K Q1 Q2 by R square. R square means now this is double, so it will become 2R square. It has got also meaning and it has got value. If you want, I can discuss in next lecture, but you have to leave a comment. Okay, if you are interested for all those things, because I don't want to go so extra because time is less and boards are coming. Okay, so F is equal to K Q1 Q2 by 2R square. So it will become now how much? K Q1 Q2 by 4R square. So easily you can write 1 by 4 of K Q, sorry, you can write 1 by 4 of K Q1 Q2 by R square. Okay, so this is your original F. Take this is your second case, and this is your initial F. So now it will become 1 by 4 of F1. So that means your force of attraction is reduced by this 4 times. Okay, is it clear? Hope it is clear. So in my next lecture, I will discuss about resistors in series parallel, and again after that we will discuss about all the numericals, and I am going to give all the tricks how to solve it easily. So obviously I will be touching all the 12th concept. Definitely I am going to touch 12th concept. Those who are preparing for competitive like NEET and JEE, it will help them in 12th class. Okay, thank you for watching.